Welcome back to Android app development. In this explainer, we are going to learn exactly how to install Android Studio, set up that crucial Android SDK, configure the emulator, and really understand the Android project structure. Let's get your developer workstation locked, loaded, and ready to go.
Here is our roadmap for today. First, we install Android Studio. Second, we tackle the Android SDK setup. Third, we'll get your Android emulator running. And finally, we'll break down the Android project structure.
All right, Section 1, let's install Android Studio. Before we start downloading things, let's establish what Android Studio actually is. It's the official IDE, or Integrated Development Environment, for Android app development, developed right alongside Google. Think of it as your ultimate command center. It gives you the official toolset to design, build, run, and test your Android software, literally all in one place. The installation itself is super straightforward, whether you're on Windows, macOS, or Linux. First, you just download Android Studio straight from the official Android developer's website. After that downloads, run the setup file and simply follow the installation steps. What's really great here is that during the install, Android Studio automatically grabs all those important core tools you need for development. You pretty much just hit Next, accept the defaults, and let the setup wizard do all the heavy lifting for you. Moving right along to Section 2, Android SDK Setup. Now, SDK stands for Software Development Kit. It's packed with the tools, libraries, and APIs you need to actually build these apps. Think of it this way. If you're building an app that supports Android 11, you absolutely need the Android SDK platform for API Level 30 installed. It's the bridge that ensures your code can actually talk to the specific Android versions out there in the wild. Inside Android Studio, when you open the SDK Manager, you'll want to install the latest Android SDK version. You'll see two main tabs that you really need to care about: SDK Platforms and SDK Tools. Platforms are where you download those specific Android API levels we just mentioned. Meanwhile, SDK Tools handles the utilities, things like your build tools, platform tools, and required system images. Basically, platforms dictate what version you build for, and tools dictate how your code actually gets compiled. The golden rule here? Keep this toolbox clean. Look, a few best practices will save you so many headaches. Keep only the 2 or 3 recent platforms you actually need. This is going to save you a massive amount of disk space. Stick to a single SDK location path so your system doesn't get confused, and periodically clean up your old build tools. Seriously, developers who manage their SDKs well spend way less time dealing with mysterious build errors down the road.
Okay, Section 3. Let's get your Android emulator set up.
So an Android emulator helps developers test apps without needing a physical mobile device plugged into their machine. We call this an AVD, or Android Virtual Device. It simulates an Android phone, tablet, or TV directly on your computer system. It's basically like having a fully functional hologram of a phone running right inside your laptop. Setting this virtual device up is just a quick 4-step process. First, open the Device Manager in Android Studio. Then, select a hardware profile, like what specific phone model you want. Next, choose your system image, which is basically downloading the required Android version for that device. Finally, just verify your configuration and you're good to go. When you look at the actual AVD configuration screen, you'll see you have deep control over the hardware simulation. You can allocate specific amounts of RAM, set internal storage space, and even decide if the front and back cameras are emulated. It is a highly customizable testing sandbox. After you finish the setup, start the emulator and boom! You can test your Android applications directly on your computer. You've got a fully functional Android interface right there, and you just interact with it using your mouse and keyboard exactly like you'd use your fingers on a real touchscreen. Finally, Section 4, the Android project structure. Now that your workspace is ready, let's look at the actual files. Every single Android project contains some really important folders and files, and they rely on 4 main conceptual pillars: your Java or Kotlin source code, your XML layouts for design, your manifest file, and your Gradle build scripts. Looking at the left side of your screen inside the IDE, you can see exactly how these concepts map directly to the color-coded project folders. You've got your manifest folder, the Java folder, the Res or resources folder, and your Gradle scripts right down at the bottom. Let's break those open real quick. The Java or Kotlin folder contains all your application's raw source code and logic. The Res folder securely stores all your non-code assets, so your XML user faces, your images, and your icons. And Gradle? Those files are the automated engine that helps build your project and manage all your dependencies.
But I really want to highlight the Android manifest.xml file. Honestly, never underestimate this file. It is the essential rulebook managing permissions, hardware requirements, and your core app configuration. It acts as the strict middleman between your app and the Android operating system itself. If you want to use the camera or connect to the internet, you have to ask for permission right here in the manifest.
All right, Section 5, Conclusion. Let's wrap this up. In this explainer, we have successfully learned how to install the Android Studio IDE, configure that all-important Android SDK, create a working emulator, and we've mapped out the entire Android project structure. Your battle station is fully operational.
So, with everything set up and ready to go, are you ready to code your first Android application? Because in the next explainer, that is exactly what we are going to do. Until then, experiment with your new emulator setup. And if you found this breakdown helpful, be sure to drop a like, share this with a fellow dev, and hit subscribe so you don't miss the rest of the Android app development course. Catch you next time.